Welcome you all to the last day session of the 3-day faculty development program on advanced sensors and its applications. Thank you, sir, Ravichandra Garu, once again, and I'll welcome you to for this session, sir. Thank you. And I hand over the session to the Ravichandra Garu. Sir, please proceed to continue your session, presentation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I thank our principal sir and HOD sir for this, and Naik sir for arranging this session. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Elaborate on vibration sensors, what we generally use in our industry to protect the equipment. So if you see, for example, only our instrument air for any control valve or for many things, instrument air is required in the plant. And instrument air, how does it comes? It comes from a compressor. The compressor takes the suction from atmosphere, which is at 1 bar, and it gives us around 8 to 9 bar pressure. So we are using that pressure to control everywhere our instruments. So to do this, we need a big compressor, might be centrifugal or reciprocating. There are different types of compressors like reciprocating, centrifugal, and screw. Based on the design specifications, we will be selecting our requirement. So let us take some centrifugal compressor. It will take air at 1 kg and develop the pressure up to some 8 kgs or 9 kgs and give us the discharge pressure. So in this process, there are a lot of rotating equipment involved. Like it will suck the air, it will pass through the impeller, and there are a lot of rotating equipment. Once if you see huge mass is rotating there to develop the pressure. If the mass is rotating, there are many forces which are exerting outside, like centrifugal force and centripetal force and unbalanced force. Because one side you have 1 kg atmosphere, and other side you have 8 or 9 kg. So there are a lot of forces acting on the rotating equipment. So all this causes a lot of vibration on the machine. So vibration, if it is uncontrolled or undamped, it will just break away our machine. So here our role is to protect the compressor. So by measuring the vibration on the compressor. So where do we measure this vibration? So we measure this vibration basically on the casing, on surface of the compressor, or on the shaft. Shaft is nothing but the thing which rotates the on shaft of the compressor. So these are the things where we measure the vibration. And here instrument air compressor is just an example. There are many other process gas compressors compressing the gas up to 200 kg pressure or 150 kg, like that, higher range. For a simple example, I have taken instrument air pressure. And so before going to practical vibration analysis, I will just cover the this thing, theory of vibration analysis. Sir, I am clear na, sir, up to now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is clear.
Okay, sir. Once I will open the presentation and share it, sir. Of the compressor. So for that we use many modern vibration measuring techniques. So before that we will just cover the theory once for the students sitting over there. So this is the basic PPT. So any vibration, if you see, what is vibration? So if we see, this is a mass here. For example, in our case, it is a shaft. So it has many forces acting on it. So it can vibrate to and back, to and fro in this direction. You can see my cursor, na, sir?
Yes, sir.
So it vibrates in this direction. So if we take it as linear vibration, for example, for easy of understanding, we will take it is vibrating in a sinusoidal wave. So if it vibrates beyond some limit, so that mass will be free from this body and it will like run away. So basic vibration, we can take it as a simple sinusoidal wave vibrating in two limits. Okay, sir. And if you take the time wave, and if this is our rotating shaft and this is center point, if some material build is there at one end of the shaft, a minor material build, what we call heavy spot, it causes vibration. So if it is rotating like this can be traced as sinusoidal wave like this, one revolution. Okay, sir. So this heavy spot on the shaft. This heavy spot on the shaft is causing this sinusoidal wave with this frequency. And okay, sir. One second. Now Dropbox has installed. Actually, I'm closing it. I'm closing. Can you see the red spot cursor? So this is a shaft rotating in this direction. Due to some heaviness, it has caused a sinusoidal wave like this. Okay. So in this, we will see what is frequency and amplitude. Frequency is just cycles per second or H, and amplitude is the maximum extent it is vibrating. And so frequency comes from the source of vibration, and amplitude says the severity. And here we will, time being, we will neglect phase angle. It shows the cause of vibration. So here we will concentrate on frequency and amplitude. So this is the shaft which is rotating, and if it is revolving at 1 revolution per second, it will give 1 H. It will give 1 H. So here we have 3 parameters: displacement, velocity, and acceleration. When we are measuring the displacement, we just measure how far the shaft is going from the center position. So it is just unit of measurement will be length, mm. And if you differentiate the displacement, you will get velocity. Velocity is rate of change of displacement, means how it is changing, how it is vibrating to one front and back like that. And acceleration is again differentiation of velocity. It gives rate of change of velocity, and this acceleration will be very severe. If you are getting this acceleration, like vibration will be very rough in that area. So these 3 parameters, we will measure displacement, we will measure velocity, and we will measure acceleration here. So these are the same that waveforms. So here the amplitude of displacement gives the stress indicator, how much stress the machine is taking, like how much forces it is handling. And velocity gives fatigue. If it is running for long hours, there are some wear and tear effects, and velocity will come. Acceleration is force, like if there is any sudden increase in pressures and all, it will give force indication. Okay. So mainly we will measure velocity, because velocity gives us like the frequency range of velocity is flat. Like in that range, we can measure the velocity to very good level. So this is basic our simple waveform what we measure. This is peak, peak to peak, RMS value, and average value. Generally, we will measure RMS value in vibration. So we use 3 types of probes for measuring each parameter. Like proximity probe we use for displacement, velocity probe for velocity, and accelerometer for acceleration measurement. So for example, this is casing of a compressor. This is casing of a compressor or pump, whatever it may be, and this is our shaft. Ideally, it should rotate in between here, but due to some forces, it will extend and it might be rotating here. Up to that point, it is fine. So when it is rotating here, it should not move like this from its center point. If it is, this is called radial vibration. Sir, my cursor is clear, na? this movement is called as radial vibration. So this vibration is dangerous to certain limit. And another form of vibration is axial. So axial is like this, front and back. I cannot show you on the screen. It is front and back. So that is even more dangerous. So when we are talking about radial vibration, here we will use a proximeter probe, and this proximeter probe will continuously measure the distance between these two, and this change in this distance is nothing but velocity. So that is our what you call vibration. And always shaft will be filled with a lube oil here, lubrication oil. So these proximeters are permanently installed on large machines with sleeve bearings. Bearing is again another component in machine which we always encounter, because it allows a relative motion between stator and a rotating equipment. So their bearings are used, and bearings are also mostly prone to vibration. So these vibration probes are permanently installed on the sleeve bearings. It measures relative displacement between the bearing housing and the rotating shaft. So we are measuring relative displacement here. Okay, and these probes are called eddy current probes. The working of this probe I will cover in next presentation, and its frequency is 0 to 60,000 Hz frequency range. And this is velocity probe. Velocity probe is nothing but a magnet in between a coil with a piece of springs attached. So based on the velocity, this moves and it generates the signal. Generally, we use accelerometer in place of velocity probes. So this is oldest of all, and it is bit typical. And frequency response is comparatively less, and it is temperature sensitive. Comes accelerometer. Instead of velocimeter, we use accelerometer and integration circuit inside this accelerometer. So we will measure acceleration and integrate it to get velocity. So because of this, our sensor will be simple, and just adding a circuit gives us velocity rather than using a complicated velocity sensor. So that's why in industry you will find either proximity or accelerometers. So this accelerometer is nothing but it is a crystal element and a mass on it. Based on sudden vibration on it, it will generate the output pulses, which will be proportional to the acceleration or vibration of the casing. And this will be this will directly sit on the casing of the compressor. Whereas proximity, if you see, proximity is not touching any part. It is installed in a sleeve here along with the machine. So it is not touching anything. Whereas accelerometer, it will be directly mounted here. You will have a threading here just like a screw, and it will be tightened there. So it produces signal proportional to acceleration of seismic mass, and it is linear amplitude sense, and it has large frequency range, small in size, and since we are using crystal and all, manufacturing will be very easy for it. So again, if we come back to our vibration, so this is generating this waveform. So there will be many causes of vibration. Now we are dealing with one heavy spot. It is generating this time waveform. And in the same compressor, you will have a cooling fan there. For any compressor, to cool the motor or anything, you will have a fan option on the non-driving end. So, for example, if this fan has 4 blades and it is rotating with 1000 RPM, we will get vibration signal picked up because of this fan also. Clear, na sir?
Yes, sir.
So we will get the vibration signals picked up with this fan also. So when we are rotating a machine with 1000 RPM, here the pulses will be 4000 Hz. And in this case, our RPM, let us say it is 1000 RPM. So this will be 1000 Hz, because you have only one spot, and that fan is sitting on this shaft only. So here you have 4000 Hz. And In rotary equipment, generally what they do, we rotate the machine at a constant RPM, say 1000 RPM. And if you want to increase the speed, we use generally gearboxes, simple gearbox. Like example of gearbox is our two-wheeler. How we are shifting from 1 to 4th gear, where we are changing torque and speed. So here, let us assume we have a gear teeth with 12 teeth here. So every teeth will again generate a frequency. So 12 into 1000 comes 12,000 hedges. So in this example, we have taken one heavy spot, uh, one fan, and one gear teeth. So we have three frequencies here. One heavy spot, one heavy spot is generating 1000 hedges, fan is generating 4000 hedges, and gearbox is generating 12,000 hedges. These three are for example only I have taken. Generally, if you see a bearing, if you can visualize a normal bearing which is there in our two-wheelers or something, you will have a number of balls on it, and every ball will generate a frequency. So this frequency will be of very higher amplitude, very higher range. So here for simplicity, we are considering three frequencies. So if you impose, we will read signal like this. This is for heavy spot, this is for fan, and this is for gear teeth. So this is mixed. So analyzing in time domain is a difficult technique, because in time domain you cannot like analyzing will be difficult. So this is for study purpose we have taken simple sinusoidal waveform. But in general, if you see, it will not be sinusoidal. It will be typically like this, which gives no information for us. This is the basic technique how we take it. This is rotating. We put a transducer. We got a time waveform. Now we will convert it into FFT, frequency domain. So we use fast Fourier transform technique. So there we can know the number of frequencies we are generating. So number of frequencies gives the vibration data. For example, in this case, if we are getting vibration at around 12,000 hertz, we can say it is coming from gear teeth. If we are getting vibration at say 4,000 hertz, we can say our fan is generating the vibration. If we are getting only at 1,000 RPM, 1,000 hertz, we can say there is some heavy spot and it is generating. So by knowing the frequency itself, we can know what is the source of the vibration. So here again, amplitude gives the severity. The amplitude of this thing gives the severity of the vibration. These are simple things used used to represent only. And FFT is fast Fourier transform. We get separate individual frequencies, detects how much vibration at each frequency. So if we impose into FFT, we will get this waveform, amplitude versus frequency. There is another technique also, wavelet transform, which gives amplitude, frequency versus time. So here we will do only FFT signals. So this is giving, my heavy spot is giving 1x. 1x is x is nothing but RPM. So you will denote RPM here in terms of x. So 1x frequency, if I am getting, there is some heavy spot on the shaft. If I am getting 4x frequency, it says my fan blades are not proper. If I am getting 12x, I will get my gear teeth is not proper. Okay. So there will be many distant peaks like this. In FFT also, FFT will not be as simple as we have seen. It will be normally like this only. So many distant peaks. So here if you see, this is frequency and this is velocity. Specific peaks typically correlate to specific machine faults related to machine speeds. Okay, this is a basic vibration analysis theory. So next in PPT, I will go to how we are actually measuring in industry. Yes, sir, I am closing this presentation and opening the other one. So leader, sir, you can see full screen, sir. Generally, I will reduce the size. Yes. So generally, sir, we have world like leader in vibration analysis is from Bentley, Nevada. They have initially manufactured the sensors and proximeters used in vibration monitoring, and they are the world leader now. And GE is the parent company now. So in industry, majority of petrochemical or fertilizer or chemical industries, you will find Bentley, Nevada. And 3300 XL is nothing but a series of that product. So if you see, so this is the basic proximeter. You can see the cursor, na, sir? Hand. So this is the basic proximeter, which is measuring the vibration. So proximeter generally have oscillator and demodulator. So this is a special probe. I have a photographs in other pages, sir. This is a special probe which carries the signal up to the target. So this is basically proximeter. It consists of a demodulator and an oscillator. And this probe it is a special probe, and you can represent that probe in capacitance and inductance form like this: extension cable and probe. So now if you see, this is our conductive material or simply our shaft. This proximity works on eddy current principle. I will explain again eddy current, sir. So when this probe is near to this conductive material, the proximeter gets the signal sent by the proximeter gets attenuated, and it is again detected by the proximeter itself. So basically, this proximeter has a oscillator which is generating proximeter as an oscillator which is generating a frequency, a radio frequency, sir. Let us say it is generating some 20 megahertz, just for example. So that 20 megahertz will go to the probe, that frequency, and because of that current signal only, some flux lines will be generated, and these flux lines will be cut by this conductive material. All our shafts are conductive material only, by this conductive material, and in turn they will induce currents in that called eddy currents, and that simply amplitude modulation is going to takes place here. So if you see like this, so probe is generating here we have two scenarios. This shaft is near to this probe and this is away from this probe. This probe is generating radio frequency signal like this, like a triangular waveform in green color. So when the conductive material comes in, eddy current flows in this, and that opposes the flux of this probe. So it results in attenuation of the signal. Here you can see peak to peak of plus 10 volts to minus 10 volts. If the target is away, like shaft is away from the probe, it is plus 12 volts to minus 12 volts. Sir, clear, sir? So if you see this shaft here up to this point, we have seen shaft is stationary and shaft is moving near and far. But normally shaft will be rotating in nature, like it will be rotating at 1000 RPM or 2000 RPM. When it is rotating, it comes near and it goes away. So in that case, so when it is going away from the probe, we get higher amplitude. When it is coming near to the probe, we get lower amplitude. When it is going away, again higher amplitude. Simply this is basically amplitude modulation. Like we are modulating the carrier frequency signal here. So this is our vibration signal. If you can see, this is our vibration signal actually. This is only carrier. So our proximeter, what it does, it will demodulate this carrier and give this peak to peak, this vibration signal. So normally, I explained you in earlier slides that we will measure radial vibration and axial vibration. Radial vibration is something which is perpendicular to the axis. Like if this is the axis, this is the radial vibration, and axial vibration will be this one. This is parallel to the axis, and axial vibration is much more dangerous than the radial vibration. Why? Because if our axial shaft itself is moving front and back, it will have lot of unbalance and it will result in damage to the bearing of the machine itself. So in both the cases we use proximity only. In radial we will be measuring velocity like per second, or generally vibration will be in the order of microns, like 20-30 microns, and tripping normally we will trip at 100 microns, 150 microns, like that, based on the vendor. So you can see we are measuring here up to micron precision. And axial only we will measure displacement, like how far the shaft is moving from that like center position. So normally why axial movement takes place is because in any compressor, for example, what we are taking, one side of the compressor pressure will be 1 kg and other side of the compressor, example, 10 kg. So obviously this 10 kg will be pushing back this shaft. So to counterbalance it, there are thrust bearings and all, but that's why axial vibration is very critical. Like this will be pushing towards the motor, and it should be stopped by balancing the forces. And one more, if you want to know the what you call RPM of the machine, we can use a key phaser probe. Key phaser can give RPM, and in many cases we use two radial probes with 90 degrees apart. To synchronize the phase angle between them, we use the key phaser probe. It is nothing but we will have a small notch on the shaft. Notch will be of the two of up to 5 mm or some not more than 5 mm. So this notch gives us the number of revolutions and also phase reference for two radial probes. Generally, we will have two radial probes for every shaft. And this is basically probe how it looks like. This is the probe how it looks like, and this is the cable, and this is the proximeter, and this is the extension. This is extension cable. So our flux will be generated here only. So extension cable is nothing but a special cable. Why we use a special cable here is we are generating a radio frequency signal and it is being transmitted up to end of the probe. And if you any changes in this length or material results in changes in inductance and capacitance, which you have seen in our second slide. So this will be a specific cable given by this manufacturer only. It is a triaxial cable. So it is center conductor, it is inner screen, insulation, and outer screen. So basically communication will be through this screen only. So if we see physically, it will be like this. And it is a gold tip normally. And this goes inside this. This is male and this is female, like this. Like this. So all these are other parameters, industrial specifications, how we are selecting the probe and all different part numbers. So this presentation we can break here, and I think I'm clear why we are measuring vibration in any equipment and how the equipment will be in industries, and different industrial techniques of measuring vibration. Other than this, there are handheld instruments also. They are nothing but an accelerometer. In accelerometer you will get same in one second. In accelerometer also you will get vibration signal like this only. This is what you call how you get in a accelerometer. From this also they will identify based on the frequency. Okay, I think I am clear up to this point. Sir, now we have covered a theory of vibration measurement of proximeter, velometer, accelerometer, and industrial application of it. So I think I'm clear, sir. If any doubts, you can raise. If you're having any doubts, you can raise, sir.
It very pleasantly and very neatly in a soft manner. So it is very good, sir, today.
Okay.
So the
Okay. Tell me.
KHIT. Sir, this session is very good, sir. First of all, I would like to thank arranging this program in our in LBRC is a very good interaction with the vibration sensors and IoT various applications, sir. I would thank you, sir. This session is very good, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, any other faculty, did you say something about this topic? Satyanarayan garu? Sir, did you say something about or anything?
Overall,
Okay. Sir.
Overall, I'm happy with presentations by both Yogesh and Ravichandran sir. Yogesh has covered all the advanced sensors used in various automobile applications. Most interestingly, he has covered testing protocols, which we were not that much familiar. He has done a fabulous job by providing necessary information about testing protocols in relation with all the advanced MEMS-based sensors. Very thankful to our old student, of course, my student, and thanks to Yogesh. And coming to today's presentation, Ravichandran sir, the way he has delivered contents like a well-experienced professor, even though he works in industry, he has delivered nice content on vibration sensors and their importance and how to damp the vibration and how to measure accurately. Really very nice presentation, Ravichandran sir. In conclusion, I'm happy to have such a deliberations during this COVID-19 pandemic, making use of this particular leisure time to have this LDP is really good idea. Thank you, Ravichandran and Yogesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So, Nagar, did you say something about my phone number 944-1042-920? You note down all of you. If anybody not getting certificate, contact me 944-1042-920. Thank you all. No, any faculty share you can interact with me. Faculty. Okay, sir. Nice, sir. We are closing the session. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Very important.
Thank you, sir.
Don't say this, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.